So this exercise is called pushing away the paper, and it's a great experiential metaphor. So by experiential, I mean something that a person can actually take part in and experience, as opposed to a metaphor that you just talk about. And this is for acceptance and experiential avoidance. But really, I find it useful as a way to introduce the whole idea of acceptance and commitment therapy. So usually when I'm starting out with a person I'm working with, this is one of the first exercises that I do to introduce them to what we're trying to do within acceptance and commitment therapy. If you're a therapist, if you're new to ACT, this isn't the only way that you can start working with someone and introducing the ideas to them. This is just the way that I quite like. And from my experience, it tends to go down quite well with my clients. If you're not a therapist and you're watching this, then please take part in this exercise, because again, this is how I would do it if you were really my client sat there in front of me. So this exercise changed my entire perspective about what we do with thoughts, and was probably the first shift I had away from thought challenging, which is quite a traditional cognitive therapy technique. There's probably loads of ways you could set this up, but this is how I tend to do it. I would like you to take a piece of paper and write on it a thought that comes up for you often, a thought that you get stuck in or hooked on. And just a note here, it doesn't have to be a thought. It can be a feeling or a memory or a sensation or anything really that you or the person you're working with experiences. And I'm going to talk through this exercise with things that are relevant to me. So obviously, if you're using this exercise yourself, then use things that are meaningful to you. Or if you're using it with a client, then use things that the client has brought to the session that's meaningful to them. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write down on my piece of paper, although because I'm a bit of a tech nerd, I'm going to use my iPad. So I'm going to write down on my iPad or on my piece of paper something that genuinely gets in the way for me, and that's I'm not good enough for YouTube. And that is a thought that quite often comes up, and it actually prevents me from taking action. It prevents me from sitting down and making a video and putting content out there, because I just get this thought, I'm not good enough for YouTube. No one's going to watch this. Who am I to be giving this advice to people? Who am I to be sharing this? People aren't going to get it. They're going to think I'm a rubbish therapist. And that's, if we dig down deeper, that's going to have a big impact on my identity and how I see myself. But that all starts with that thought, I'm not good enough for YouTube. So that's what I'm going to use. So let me write that down on my piece of paper. So hopefully, because I always get really confused in which way my camera is orientated and whether things are backward or not on the screen for people watching, hopefully you'll be able to see something there that says, I am not good enough for YouTube. So I'm just going to prop this down in front of me. It's still there, I can still see it. So out there in front of me is everything in the world that matters to me. My wife is out there, my kids are out there, my mum's out there, my grandma, my dog, my friends, my clients, my work is important to me. Then there's things I enjoy doing, like listening to music, that's important to me. Reading books, cooking. I love eating food as well. Going out to restaurants, going to the cinema, watching films, just all of those things that I love doing in my life. And also out there, there's things that are challenging to me, such as balancing my family, work, making videos, staying on top of things financially, being the best therapist I can be by keeping up with research, trying to stay healthy, so eating better, doing exercise. There's a lot to try and keep on top of. There's a lot to balance. And we only have so much energy and we only have so much time. And not only that, there's all the things I have to do often, like getting washed. So these are things that I might not necessarily enjoy. So getting washed, washing the clothes, keeping the house clean, actually traveling to work, paying bills. There's loads of things that might not be meaningful, but they are important to me, as in they need to be done. So if I pick up my iPad and I have a look at this thought, I am not good enough for YouTube, I am going to try to push this thought as far away from me as I can, because this thought I don't like it. I don't like having the thought I'm not good enough for YouTube because it gets in the way of me doing things. So I'm going to get rid of that thought. I'm going to really push it out. I'm going to get that thought as far away from me as possible. Why might I do this? Well, this is pretty much what society tells us to do, isn't it? Don't think those thoughts. Push them away. Come on, let's try and push harder. Get those thoughts out of your head. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to notice, and I want you to notice as well if you're doing this along with me, how difficult is this for me? I'm tired. My arms are aching. I'm really pushing. I can feel them shaking already, and it's only been, 30 seconds or so. Imagine if I was trying to do this all day. And think about how distracting is this for me? Can I really focus on things that are actually meaningful to me? Can I give anything in front of me right now my full attention, my full present attention? It's hard thinking about to remember to look at the camera and think about what to say. And while I'm doing this, what action can I really take when all of my energy and focus is on this? So pushing this thought or this feeling or this sensation, trying to get away from it just isn't working for me. It's making me distracted. It's making me tired. It's making me miss out on what is right in front of me right now, such as talking to you. Okay, so let's try something else. This time, instead of pushing the thoughts away, I'm going to put all of my attention on them. I'm going to put all of my focus on them. I'm going to get stuck and hooked by them as if they are my main focus. It's all I can think about. So I'm going to hold the paper up, I'm going to hold the iPad up just in front of my nose, and let's see how I get on. So I'm going to have it about here, and I want you to do the same. I want you to get your bit of paper and put it right in front of your nose like this. Okay. Now I'm not going to sit here with it right in front of my face because that's going to be really weird if you're watching this. But hold your paper up and just listen to what I say. How does that feel? I bet this feels less tiring than this. But how can I interact with the world? How can I engage with something meaningful, important to me when I'm so focused on something else? How can I give things my fullest present attention? When I'm like this, that's all I can see. I can't see all the stuff I want to see. I can't engage in what I want to. I am so caught up in this thought that it has completely taken over. And this is kind of what I get when I come to making videos. And it really does get in the way. Right, so pushing my thoughts away doesn't work. Focusing and getting all stuck on my thoughts doesn't work. So what's my alternative? Let's try this. How about I put the bit of paper or the iPad down on my lap? Or I'll put it on my table. It's just there. It's in sight still. It's still there. I can still see it in my vision. When I look at my camera, I can still see it. It hasn't gone completely. I can notice it. But how much more energy do I have now? How much easier is it for me to engage with what is meaningful to me? I can still see it. I can still feel myself glancing at it every now and then. But then I can come back to what's in front of me. So let's think about how this exercise fits within all of the processes within acceptance and commitment therapy. Well, first of all, we can be more engaged in the present moment because we're not pushing thoughts away or getting stuck in them. Also, as we're not pushing them away or getting stuck in them, we're facilitating some acceptance of being willing to have them. We're trying to get some distance from our thoughts here so they don't control our behaviour. So that's cognitive diffusion. But then we're also being aware that we are able to do that. We can notice that we are noticing and that we are more, the sum of us is more than just our thoughts. So that relates to self as context. So I'll have a video called Who is Doing the Noticing? And when we can do that, then we can take action in things. Actions that are meaningful to us and live the life that we want. So that's committed action, taking the action, and living the life that we want is connected with values. So imagine if we could do all of those things, would at least try and do all of those things. Well, we can, and this is the heart of ACT. And that is why I usually use this exercise with everyone, because it gives such a great overview of all of the processes involved, all of the processes that make us psychologically flexible. Please remember, this is a metaphor, so it's not so much the actual skill or technique to be practiced. This helps to explain the concept. There are further acceptance skills up on my channel, and there's more to come. So please subscribe for that if you're interested in more of that kind of content. If you did find value in this video, if this was helpful, then please consider subscribing to the channel. Please consider giving the video a like, because that really does give it a bit of a push within the YouTube algorithm. And what that means is other people can find this video. And if you found it helpful, then that means someone else probably will too. Thank you very much for your time. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.